Welcome to the fourth episode of Oblivion Cut Content. In this episode, we'll be looking at the multiple citizens that were meant to appear in Chorrol, but of course never made it into the final game. I've never explicitly mentioned this, but Chorrol is kind of the Falkreath of Oblivion. It's filled to the brim with weird old systems, unused content, and other oddities. Now I want to make one thing clear. These people no longer exist in NPC form. A majority of them only have remaining AI packages, which confirms their existence. Because of this, there is no way for us to know how these people were supposed to look. With all that out of the way, let's take a look, shall we? The first person we'll be looking at is Erin. The name would usually befit an Altmer male, but as stated before, we can't be certain of this, as they don't exist in NPC form and Bethesda often likes to neglect their own naming convention. Erin has 7 remaining AI packages, consisting of 5 standard wonder packages, 1 sleep package and 1 eat package. Now you might notice that all of these packages have 3 X's in front of them. This is usually to signify very basic AI in Elder Scrolls games. Normally, these kinds of packages will get deleted and replaced with more substantial and convoluted packages. But seeing as Erin was completely removed, this wasn't necessary and their AI packages just stayed in the game's files. The last interesting thing to note about these packages is that Erin apparently was connected to the Chorrol Mages Guild, as their meal would have taken place there and they would have slept in the bed that is owned by Angalmo in the final game. The next person is Ogat Gro Otmuk, a name undoubtedly given to a male orc. They also have 7 remaining AI packages. Once again, 5 wonder packages, 1 for sleeping and 1 for eating. Ogat's packages don't really reveal much except that they very likely would have lived in their own house and that they visited both the Grey Mare and Northern Goods and Trade throughout the day. There is also a leftover conversation known as Ogat's Squabble left in the files, but none of the dialogue or subtitles remain for it. It's also unknown who Ogat's conversation partner would have been. While we're at it, let's take a look at another unused orc. You might have seen their name in the game once already. I'm talking about Murgak Gruushak. Now, as they don't exist in the final game, where would you have seen their name? Easy, it's on the key carried by both Glistel and Melintus Anchors in the final game. Why do they carry the key of a removed orc? Well, it would seem that Melintus Anchors actually was Murgak Gruushak originally. While there isn't any concrete proof of this, there is this little tidbit. Melintus will get a daily visit by the orc Gatern Grogong in the final game. However, Gatern's package to visit him is actually named Gatern Grogong Visit Murgak Gruushak 10 times 0. This is the second and last time Murgak's name is used in the game's files. Now of course Gatern visits Melintus and not Murgak, but the developers would have to deliberately choose Melintus as the target, as otherwise the package simply wouldn't work. Let's just enter speculation territory for a short while here. In the final game, Melintus Anchors and Glistel are the subject of many rumors involving their relationship. The townsfolk really don't like seeing them together, specifically having a problem with Melintus. Here are some examples of the rumors you may hear in town.
I don't understand what Glistel is doing with Melintus Anchors. I mean, have you seen her? And have you seen him? I just don't get it.
I'm sure you've heard that Glistel and Melintus Anchors are living together. Simply shameful.
Now, in the final game, this boils down to Glistel seemingly being of a higher class than Melintus, while he himself seems to be a dirty lower class citizen. But think about this. It really doesn't make sense. Why would the citizens of Cyrodiil act so hostile towards another Imperial? Over in Anvil, the whole town talks about how weird it is for an elf to be married to a human, with a deliberate dislike for the elven party involved. This is pure speculation, but think about it like this. What if Bethesda just replaced the name Murgak Gruushak with Melintus Anchors in these rumors? Citizens talking about a high-class elven lady and a lower-class orc? Now that is something I can believe. Keep in mind, it could have gone like this, but I might also be completely wrong here. Anyway, that's enough speculation for now. Next up is a person known as Randall. Seeing as the full name is present in the AI packages here, and the person doesn't have a last name, it would seem that Randall was a male Redguard. Randall has a whopping 11 AI packages to their name, 9 standard wonder, 1 eat and 1 sleep. Despite this, their packages are by far the least revealing we've seen. It seems that Randall would have had their own house as well. They would visit the Oak Enclosure daily and would eat there as well. That's all I can say though. Next up is Gurian, which would be a female Dunmer. And you might be aware of this, but yes, Bethesda apparently remembered the name and reused it for an NPC in Skyrim, a sailor you may encounter in Windhelm. Good to see that they actually followed their naming convention this time. Oblivion's Voltzi, however, only exists in the form of 6 AI packages: 4 Wander, 1 Eat and 1 Sleep. Once again, they're not very revealing. Voltzi would have gone to the local chapel twice a day and likely had their own house, but nothing more can be said. So, anyone up for some more speculation? We have this unused AI package called Beauregard Visit Glistel 14x3. Was Beauregard an earlier name for the used NPC Bongond, or was Beauregard a completely different NPC? The name is never used outside of this unused AI package. Decide for yourself what you want to believe, as there isn't a single thing I can add or speculate on. Although, if Beauregard was Bongond, that would be very strange because hostlers never leave their stables in the final game. Now for the last NPC with the remaining AI packages, their name is Fatah. And well, even I can't really pinpoint a race to this name. I can tell you that it's probably a male name and that it's not Argonian, Khajiit, Breton, Imperial or Dunmer, but I can't really say if it's specifically a Redguard or Nord name, and the same goes for Altmer and Bosmer, though I'm fairly certain it's one of those 4. The remaining AI packages don't tell us much more about Fatah. They would have visited the Chapel of Standard twice a day and probably had their own house, but there isn't anything else to go off. Now, how about we make it a bit more confusing? The name Fatah is used in one other instance. It was meant to appear as a topic in dialogue. Strangely enough, we do know with who this topic was meant to be discussed. It was supposed to be Boris. So either Fatah originally played a role in the main quest, or at the very least Boris knew of them. Before looking at the very last mystery NPC, I'd like to take a look at Oblivion's E3 2005 demo. You'll see why in a second.
Let's take a look at the other side of the game, our new rating AI system. It allows NPCs to have full 24/7 schedules. These NPCs are not scripted. We give them general goals, and they figure out on their own how to accomplish them. This is the western city of Chorrol. There are 9 main cities in the game and dozens of smaller settlements. Over 1,000 NPCs live in Oblivion, all with their own schedules and jobs. Cities are a great place to start a lot of your quests. Each city has its own unique shops, good for trading, breaking into at night, making it your own.
So, as we can see when Todd is walking through Chorrol, he gets greeted by an Imperial or Breton woman that doesn't exist in the final game. We sadly don't get a look at her name though. Todd then comes across 2 men having a conversation, the Imperial Maris Antonius and the Dunmer Nilo Salino. All other things aside, why don't any of these 3 people exist in the final game? And when I say don't exist, I mean their name isn't even mentioned once in the game's files. It would seem like they were created just for E3 in order to showcase the dialogue system, but that's pretty odd seeing as I'd say 70% of all the testing characters are still in the game's files. That and almost all the other people shown in the demo appear in the final game. So it's just another mystery, I guess. Now, one final thing from the demo, we can see Todd speaking with Estelle Renoir, but she looks nothing like she does in the final game. The last person we'll be looking at today doesn't even have a remaining AI package. If we take a look inside the Chorrol NQD script, we will find many variables for the rumors you hear when inside the town. When talking about people, the script uses their first name if they don't have a last name, and uses their last name if they do. One of the last names seen here is Stratos. This would indicate that this person was a male Imperial. However, their first name is completely unknown to us, as it never gets mentioned anywhere. What was this Stratos' deal? Well, we still have some of the rumors about him in the files. Let's take a listen.
I had heard he was looking for some help.
I had heard he was looking for some help.
I had heard he was looking for some help.
I had heard he was looking for some help.
Not a bad idea if you're looking for work.
Not a bad idea if you're looking for work.
Not me. I've got plenty to do at home.
Not me. I've got plenty to do at home.
So these lines of dialogue are replies to one, or as it would appear, 2 different questions about Stratos and the work he offered. But the original questions are no longer in the game files. So now we know that he originally was looking for help and likely would have offered the player a job or quest. The dialogue also confirms that whoever Stratos was, he was indeed male. And that's about all that can be said on these lost Chorrol NPCs. If there's anything to take away from this, it's that there seems to have been a lot more NPCs planned for the town at one point. Now I hope that I've just educated someone somewhere about Oblivion's Cut Content, and then I'm happy. I would love to hear everyone's thoughts and their requests in the comments below, and until next episode. We have enough content to keep us going for a long while.